The Vault starring Sir Davos, or for you non-Game of Thrones fans, Liam Cunningham, started off really good, but then dropped to the realms of dumb. Let me explain. But before I do explain, consider this your spoiler warning if you have not yet watched this movie that is streaming on Netflix. I don't think if it's this, this is just a Netflix movie. It might be a Netflix original movie, but not sure. So this movie is basically a heist movie, and Sir Davos needs a engineer with a brilliant mind to figure out an uncrackable safe that's located in Spain. That's basically the plot. And obviously, he's going to figure it out, and then they're going to execute said heist. And it's just that simple. Now, this is a foreign film, a Spaniard movie, if you will, a movie from Spain. It's very well acted. It is very well written, just with a really, really dumb plot. And might as well, before I get into the bad, I guess, it has good, the music in there is very epic, very theatrical. It gives the movie a lot more importance, and I've said this in many reviews. If you have a great score, all it's going to do is elevate the movie experience. And whoever the composer was for this movie was really good. They scored this music very well. If you're not familiar with what is a score, it's just the film soundtrack. So I found that very enjoyable. So you have to watch the movie. Again, it's like Ocean's 11 or whatever heist movie you've seen. There's a safe somewhere complicated, and you need a bigger mind or stronger people just to execute said heist. So they have there's a lot of developing setup and stuff like that. Even though, and the pacing is great for this movie. I do like the fact that the pacing goes right. And for half the movie, I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying this movie. Even though there's a lot of actors that I've never seen, but they've been in other movies, especially overseas. They've been in a lot of works from what I could tell. I was like, wow, I'm strangely engaged and invested in this movie until the midway point where they basically are... The reason I say it's a bad plot is because it's basically, the plan is all set upon the relying of a soccer match between Spain's involved in these soccer matches. And yes, I mean football for all you non-soccer related, even though I think soccer should basically be self-explanatory. So it relies on Spain winning and advancing during the World Cup. Right? So that right there is just like, okay, you're leaving a lot to chance. And I think the movie references somehow that that's a bet I'm willing to make. Like Spain is that big of a powerhouse where you're for sure gonna advance in the next 3 rounds, because literally it's 3 rounds. Maybe even 4 from the beginning of it, but for sure 3 rounds that they're going to plan this heist around. So one bad match and it all goes to crap. But obviously, it's not going to be a bad match, and it's going to go exactly as planned. So they basically put the whole, bank heist in jeopardy over a soccer match or soccer matches, where I just thought it was just dumb. And that's the easiest way I could do it. Like in my notes, I literally have dumb in 3 different areas. One is being the whole plot of this heist. It's just a dumb, bad plan. So when you're watching the movie, after the midpoint, like I said, for the first part, I think it's like almost a 2-hour movie, but for the first hour, let's just say, it's great. You're like, okay, they're gonna do it, and I hope they don't drop the ball. But then, like, we've all gotten accustomed too much. It just starts, like I said in the beginning, devouring itself into dum-dum. So once we get into like the action part of this movie, or the third act, if you will, they do another dumb thing. So the engineer, he's young. He's a young kid. He doesn't look athletic. He has never stolen anything. when you get introduced to him, like there's so many like jobs throwing millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to come work for them, and he denies it. Well, once he figures out the code and how to break into this, impregnable, safe, of course he's gonna want to tag along, because of course he wants to be. He see if he's right and if he's wrong, and if he's wrong, he wants to be part of the consequences of him being wrong. So my first dumb part was letting the rookie tag along was dumb. And when you see they're like, oh, we're 10 minutes behind, we're 30 minutes behind, oh, we're running 2 hours behind. Why? If this is like the heist of a lifetime, why would you let that rookie tag along? I don't care what his premise. He figured it out how to crack it. You let the experienced people go in and be punctual. So at the end, you see they get caught up in all of this extra stuff. Why? Because they were 2 hours behind. That means they could have had 2 hours to get in and out safely with not even a peep. But okay, again, movie has to movie, and the movie can't movie if they don't have these plot devices. But in this case, it was just a dumb plot device. So once they get, in there, of course, in these types of movies, you're going to have some kind of double cross. And the double cross was dumb and obvious. You saw it from the first moment you see this person. It wasn't even a well-kept secret within the movie. You're like, yeah, this guy doesn't seem like a good guy, and he looks like a bad guy. And the way he's always, looking at our young, genius engineer, you're like, yeah, this guy's probably gonna turn on someone. And each movie has these kind of, especially in heist movies, where you're like, oh yeah, he's part of a team. Or even in disaster movies, yeah, he's gonna help us, but at the end he's like, oh no, I work for the United States and I'm trying to hold mission 2, and mission 2 is blah 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 blah. So it was kind of dumb and forced. And at the end, the payoff that these, they're looking for some coins that are invaluable and worth millions upon millions of dollars and stuff like that. They get switched around. It was just lazy. You saw that from the middle of the movie on. And when you realize that this is where they went, you're like, oh my God. Kind of like a little bit disappointed that you spent and kind of overvalued this movie. And you're like, oh, damn it. So once, our young, love interest, which that felt forced, and when you watch the movie, you'll realize what love interest I'm referring to. It felt forced, but they've managed to escape this impregnable, vault, and the only reason they escape because Spain, the soccer team, is in the finals against Netherlands, and it's 0-0, and they're in the crowd, they're moving, and just as they're about to get caught, bam, Spain scores a goal, and the crowd goes crazy, and that helps them disappear. I was like, oh, come on. Like, you saw that coming, and you're like, this is just dumb. Like, the whole, how they escape was just, just bad. Like, it was well written. The script was well written, but the plot just made it, go into the depths of no return. And you're like, oh, come on, just the dumb after dumb after dumb after dumb. And they try to save it with suspense. And don't get me wrong, the movie does manage to build that suspense even in those times, but that is the problem with this movie, is that just the plot becomes just dumb. And I'm sorry if people get offended with it. This is nothing on the actors. They did a great job, and the script was written very well. It was just the main plot of it and the execution of said plot and the escaping from said plot was just dumb, poorly underdeveloped. And how they looked at this and said, yeah, this is great, even for a Spaniard film, is very, very disappointing. But anyways, the rating for this movie for me is a C+. And if you're familiar with my rating, that's not completely bad. I mean, it's hard to pop out an A, at least from my reviews. So C+, I think, is very, very admirable and worth the watch, because you know what, some people have a taste for these types of movies and some people don't. So there's definitely a crowd for this, as when I saw it on Netflix, it was trending on their top 10. So obviously it is popular, and I did enjoy it up to the middle part, but for me there was just a plot devices, and the main plot was just too unbelievable, too dumb. As probably the wrong word being used, but I think it just emphasizes just how unbelievable the plot and the execution and the escape from the plot is. So, anyways, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What did you think about this movie? Have you checked it out? And if not, are you going to check it out? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And like always, that's a wrap.